Yo guys, this is Zakerias and welcome back to Cumminsburg. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different from what I've done before. I'm going to do a time lapse here of things that I've worked on since the last time you guys have really actually saw Cumminsburg. So anyway, here what I'm doing is I wanted to expand on my, I guess you'd call it like landscaping abilities in the game. And something that I've noticed that I haven't been doing a whole lot of was actually like terraforming. So I think that from this like point forward in the game, I need to really start incorporating terraforming into my landscapes. It really makes it seem more real, and also, as you can see, like it's just gonna start looking better. So I'll just kind of get into it here. I'm right by Opal Park, which is actually that subdivision kind of down there to the right, with the kind of lower residential housing, which in, kind of what I want this area to be is a little bit maybe higher class people living here, just because it kind of is one of the original lower residential neighborhoods that I created in this map. So I think it would be really cool to make this area a place that like people, I guess maybe people that are a little wealthier maybe want to live, definitely because it has kind of like a trailhead that they can walk on. So this is kind of just going to be more of like an urban national park. In kind of where I come from, there in some of like the towns and cities that I live in, there is kind of like urban like national parks, kind of foresty areas squeezed in between neighborhoods, so that people in the city can actually kind of get outdoors and walk on trails, and walk their dogs and ride bikes, and have fires and like campfires, not forest fires, but campfires and stuff like that. So I think that that's kind of what I was going for here, and I really had a lot of fun with it. But something that I found kind of cool was that you could place the paths down on the ground and actually terraform to them to actually level them out to make it look like something you would actually want to like walk on. So that's just kind of what I was doing here, was kind of trying to figure out where I wanted my entry and exit points of the trail. But as you'll probably see, I'm kind of getting towards the first interchange that I made, and I'm not exactly sure what I want to do over there. I think that what we need to do is kind of wrap this hilly texture, maybe kind of do a little bit of a mountain near it, and then I want to redo all of these trees that I put in the center of the interchange, kind of to make it look better together, I guess. That's something that, like, when I was doing this, I was very frustrated with myself at first, because I just could not get into the whole landscaping thing. So with my time off that I took, I decided that I was going to kind of look at pictures of other stuff people had built in City Skylines, and I really wanted to incorporate some of that into my city, Cumminsburg. And so, this is my attempt, and hopefully you guys like it. But the lake that you see back there, I want to incorporate too with these walking paths around it, and I think that it would be really cool to have a subdivision over there that actually wrapped around that little pond or lake, and then it would be really neat to maybe make some fingers and different stuff like that come off the lake, where cul-de-sacs can go down, and they'll have houses on both sides, and then the backyards of the houses will actually be lakefront property. And then maybe wrap some of these trails around into there, and then have like kind of some parks and maybe some local swimming pools. But as you can see here, what I'm doing is adding a lot of boulders. I downloaded off the Steam Workshop quite a bit of boulders to add into my city. It's hard when you have only a couple different size boulders and rocks and different maybe 1 or 2 different colors of them. So I went ahead and took some time and looked through some of the assets of the Steam Workshop and downloaded quite a bit more rocks and even more foliage. I downloaded these really cool pine trees that you'll see later on. But I realized that I've been putting palm trees in this map, and I don't know, the more and more I look at it and stuff, I just don't think that they fit with the map and kind of maybe my build style and kind of what I like, the feeling that I had for the map. So I'm going to be taking out a lot of the palm trees in a lot of these parks that I put in and replace them with some of these pine trees and evergreens. I think that that'll look a lot better, and it'll actually look more realistic because, you don't find palm trees and evergreens really necessarily living together, in natural habitat that often. I mean, maybe if not ever. I'm not the best with, I'm not, a forestry person or anything like that. I'm not claiming to be that, but I don't think that I usually find, or have seen those type of trees mixed together, and even ferns and stuff. Ferns, I might put a fern here and there, just because I think they look nice, but, we'll see. Another thing that I found off the asset you can see me placing here is, like broken trees and fallen down trees and stuff like that. And I think that kind of adds to the feeling when you're in the woods, is that, not all the trees are going to be alive. And something that I've realized was that I've meant to make my decorating look good, but sometimes I try to make it look too perfect. And for all you people that are struggling with maybe some of your landscaping, is realize that nature itself isn't really perfect. So, if you have, nature has dead trees laying around and trash laying in the alleyways and, and stuff in the city. And that's something you need to keep in mind when you're doing this type of stuff, is that it's okay if it doesn't look perfect. When it doesn't look perfect, it will look perfect when you actually look at it from a whole. So that's kind of my advice on that. But as you can see, I'm just continually decorating this area. And while I do this in the background, I will put some music to it and let you guys just go ahead and relax and watch me finish decorating this area. And I will be back in a little bit. So now here in Opal Park, the subdivision that's right next to the new national park, I decided to go ahead and kind of dress this place up a little bit with some of the pathways, and as you can see here, I'm putting in some new bush lines and stuff. So I really want this place to feel a little bit fancy. I don't want this place to feel like, extremely high class. I just want a little bit maybe wealthier people to want to live here. And I just think that dressing this place up with some of these bushes and trail walking paths and stuff like that will add a little bit more desirability, maybe necessarily in the game, but it would in real life, and it just looks better, for my purposes with this subdivision. One of the things that I'm trying to incorporate more is the walk paths. And once we go over to the main side where the big downtown is, you'll be able to see that I've been trying to incorporate and build a little bit more of my own parks with the walk paths. And I think there's a mod that I can get on the Steam Workshop that will actually allow me to place markers in it so people actually go and use it, because sometimes with the game it's a little frustrating because you'll be playing the game and you won't actually get people to walk in the parks. So that's a mod that we need to incorporate. Now here is kind of a little bit of a little bit of terraforming that I did by the main downtown. I've been working on my train tracks that kind of wind through the city, and that's something that I'll show you guys, probably later on in another episode. I'll actually show you kind of more in detail of how my train tracks run through the city. But that was definitely something that I wanted to incorporate more into Cumminsburg, was a little bit more of a train rail system, something that you could, believe in, and something that looked fairly real. But and then when it came down to kind of the pier stadium, side of the city, I wanted it to kind of terminate there, but also I needed it to go to a train station. So a train station is something that I really, am trying to incorporate in this area, because there's going to be a lot of people that want to come down here, I would imagine. So, I want it to just look like an area people would want to come in, and therefore, I don't want everybody to just have to drive down here. So having an option of taking the train there will be, a pretty good deal for us. So that's always good. Now here I'm kind of actually beginning to lay out, the train station. I'm trying to get a good feel for where I need to place the tracks, and then how it's all going to lay out and work with the tracks that I have down right now, kind of making a train tunnel so that it doesn't take away from the prettiness of the area. And then there I place actually a double rail train station that I got from Steam Workshop, which I thought was really nice looking. But I'm kind of just messing around. Sometimes trains, that's one of the things that I find a little difficult sometimes for me, is just to make them look good. And I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of tweaking on the train tracks and my train stations, but it's definitely a must to get them started. And that's kind of the rule for, these type of games, is that you need to start something, then you can always delete it and change it and make it kind of work better and look better. But once you have a start, that's how you can, that's how you kind of get things to end up finally working. And as you see here, that's kind of an example. I'm just kind of placing stuff down, trying to get stuff to work. It kind of can be frustrating, but it's something you need to just hang in there. And as you can see, once I'm completely finished with this area, that it's going to be something that you understand that how much you place and delete, and that's kind of why I haven't included all of this in all of this in a video. I've just kind of selected parts of it that I thought that maybe would be a little interesting, because you know, it's kind of boring seeing people do this type of stuff like on camera, I mean at real time and all that, but it's neat to see it like once it's finally done. So you know, when I do stuff that's like really into it and like really detailed, I'm going to just go ahead and kind of keep it to the point where, kind of like what I'm doing now, is that it's just sped up, and I'll talk to you guys about it and show you guys stuff that's when it's done. And like this right here, this doesn't look that realistic to me, but it's underground, so I mean, we're not gonna actually see it, but you know, that's something that like I know is always underneath the ground, and you know, just kind of bugs me personally. But you know, as long as we can't see it, we can just imagine that it looks right. You know, so here I am hooking it up to the station finally, and you know, trying to get these double rails to work out. And then something after the train station is complete on this side is I go over to the other side, and I really am trying to make that other area, or the other side, kind of where we have the start of our double layered avenue there along the river. I'm trying to make the train tracks and stuff look like they belong there. So that's something that, you know, at this point in the game, and while I was doing this little foliage here and kind of doing these pathways here, something that I was like keeping in the back of my mind, and I was doing this area right here with these foliage because I guess maybe I was a little afraid to start and dive into that side, because I was thinking, oh man, I don't know like exactly what I'm gonna be doing there. So once I get everything done here, I will go ahead and show you guys kind of an overall thing, an overall, you know, scope of it, and I'll show you guys in real time on camera. So but I just wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys today about what I've been up to. I know it's been a little bit since I've been on YouTube and made a video, but I want you guys to know that I am back, and I am going to continue to start making videos again, and we'll continue here in Cumminsburg and have a lot of fun. But I'm really liking the way this city is going and the direction that it's taking. This is kind of a learning experience for me and you guys on landscaping in the city. That's something that has been one of my biggest like flaws in the game, is that parks don't look good, you know, with just trees. You need a little bit of terrain adjustment and like do a little bit of terraforming in it. So with that said, thank you guys again for watching, and stay tuned next time for the next episode of City Skylines. Peace out, my folks.